everyone, long time no see, or welcome if you're new to this channel. My name is Christine and I know that for a lot of you this has been a long awaited video regarding my wedding. So I didn't get the chance to actually film anything, but I had a wonderful photographer named Kelly. I'll also link her details in the blog post and in the video as well, that was able to pretty much document a good chunk of the wedding, and hopefully that will be able to show you exactly what happened. As the saying goes, a picture is worth 1,000 words, so that's why I have so much empty space beside me in this video. I'll be just popping up some of the images that she took of my wedding, so that will give you a sense of what we did to make it a little bit more sustainable and also minimal. So the way this video is going to work is that we'll be going in order of time, from the engagement period to the actual wedding day operations. I'll also be only touching on things I actually did for the wedding, just to make it really short, because I don't want to be blabbering too much in this video. In the case you do want the full details and also alternative ideas though, I will be putting those links and ideas in a blog post, which should be linked down below, so be sure to check out that as well. I hope this video is helpful and inspirational and hopefully exciting for you if you are about to plan a wedding or if you got recently engaged, and congratulations if you did. So to start off with the whole engagement period was the proposal. So the first thing that happened was I told Peter I don't want an engagement ring because I don't like the idea of having a big fat rock on my finger that's going to smash into everything. So he was a little bit confused about what to actually propose to me with. What ended up happening, which is another story for another time, is that he decided to get me a necklace instead, and he got me a necklace from the company called Brilliant Earth, which is a company based in San Francisco which sources diamonds in an ethical manner. So the two other major events that do happen in the engagement period are usually the Bachelorette Trip as well as the Bridal Shower. So for me, I'm a simple person, or I try to be, so I only had one maid of honor, and that was my sister. So for our Bachelorette Trip, we just decided to have a fun sister trip, and we went to New York City. And we ate lots of good food and pizza and cookies and all my favorite foods, and just got to explore the city and just spend time together. So that was pretty much all I needed. It was just an experience, a time to have fun and to really bond over food, because that's what we do as sisters. The second thing though is also the bridal shower. So my sister is not zero waste, and I commend her for trying her best to plan a so-called zero waste event. I know she doesn't traditionally buy groceries in a zero waste manner, so I told her, hey, you just do what you can and don't kill yourself over it, because I know you're the only person really working on this, so if you need help, just ask my friends. But I know she went out of her way to get compostable plates for people, and I still brought my own, but she did a really good job of planning out the food and trying to make sure that there weren't any disposables. And all of the games pretty much just use a piece of paper which we could recycle. We had some games such as guessing how old Peter and I were in several pictures, which we posted up on walls, or where we were located in some of these pictures as well. And we also did a Jeopardy game, which had some trivia essentially of Peter and I's relationship, which was pretty much just done on a whiteboard and as teams. So pretty simple stuff, and all of the gifts that she gave were consumables as well. In regards to the bridal shower gifts and also the wedding gifts, I guess this is a bit of a foreshadowing, I did have a small little registry on Amazon for some household staples like baking pans, as well as beeswrap and mason lid jars and all sorts of knickknacks that are, I guess, more sustainable goods. And I also just asked for more consumable items, so I ended up getting a lot of organic soap from people and a lot of plants, which is great. I love plants, so as you can see, I keep on bumping into this one. But that's essentially what I did for the bridal shower, and luckily most of the people at my bridal shower knew exactly what I was like and what I liked, so it was easy for them to choose exactly what I needed. So I'm really thankful for that as well. So one of the biggest parts of planning a wedding is figuring out what you're going to wear, and I'm sure a bunch of people out there are always dreaming about what they're going to look like on their very special day. So for myself, what I ended up doing was, my sister did get married a couple months previous, and I was actually trying on some dresses and had a few ideas, and she just said, hey Christine, why don't you just borrow my dress, because we're probably the same size. And at first that seemed a little bit ridiculous because I didn't want to look the same as her at her wedding. But I ended up taking it, I ran with it, got it altered, and also purchased a different top from a sustainable bridal company, with that made it out of organic cotton lace. So I was able to pair that together and luckily was able to get it through. And it looked pretty nice the day of, I have to say. I mean, you guys can be the judge as you look at the pictures. In terms of shoes, I wore sandals that I actually already had. So some of you may have seen these Seiko sandals, which are made in Uganda. It's a social enterprise that helps to empower women and education, as well as starting their own business and work. So what I've done in the past, actually, I did this the first time at my sister's wedding, is that those laces are interchangeable. So I went to a craft store and I found some cotton lace that was a little bit golden. I thought, hey, this is a perfect match for long bridal gowns and maybe even my future wedding, whenever that's gonna be. So I was able to repurpose that, and you guys can see in the picture that I'll probably show sometime soon, maybe right now, that's exactly what I used, and it paired really well with the amount of lace that was on my dress too. So in regards to the rings, as I mentioned before, just like the necklace that Peter had purchased, we went to the Brilliant Earth store in San Francisco and we chose our wedding rings. For me, I just have always imagined a wedding ring to be very simple without any rocks on it. I think that's because of my parents and just the very thin, simple wedding band that they always had. So I thought, hey, let's keep it traditional, get something simple, minimal, and this is pretty much all I need, and I really do love it because it's just a very simple piece that has a lot of significant meaning but doesn't need to have a lot of embellishments to make it what it is. For my own makeup and hair, so I'm not a big makeup person, you guys might be able to tell. I'm pretty much barefaced all the time. So what I ended up doing was I had a close friend from my church who's actually a makeup artist help me out with putting on the makeup. So I don't have any good zero waste or sustainable solutions yet, but I do know of some sustainable brands which I might be able to link below. But I went with a close friend and she helped me to do the makeup on the day of because, I mean, it's only one day, it's a big day, and especially if you're going to be bawling tears, you want to make sure you have waterproof makeup so you don't have a bunch of black streaming down your face. So, I mean, it's one day, you do you. I guess if I wore more makeup on a regular basis, maybe I would have used my own, but that's just how it ended up. So in regards to hair, you guys might be able to tell that I'm pretty much the fuss-free type of girl when it comes to hair. It's usually up, but I don't really like to wear it down, and I just recently chopped it off too. So I didn't really think much about finding a zero-waste solution because I thought, you know, this is the big day, I do want it to stay in place. So I went to a hair salon, they used the hairspray, but they did use a lot of bobby pins, which are happily being repurposed right now in my own hair, and also I just have a stack of them in the bathroom. So those didn't go to waste, but in terms of just natural hair products like hairspray, I haven't really explored that avenue much, but just went to a hair salon for the big day and have been repurposing those bobby pins that were used for my updo. Peter's also a really big flower crown guy for some weird reason, so he really asked me, hey Christina, if you had to wear one thing, you have to wear a flower crown. So I got a very minimal flower crown with a little bit of baby's breath on it, and got it from a local florist in San Francisco, and I'll talk a little bit more about them in the next section of this video. And they were able to make it with only twine, leaves, and the baby's breath, so it was completely compostable. It's actually sitting in our bedroom right now, and it's completely dry, but it's not made of any plastic, which I thought was really great. So in regards to what the rest of the wedding party wore, we were able to get rentals for both the men and also my sister. So for the men, they were able to get gray suits and brown shoes through Black Tux and do that rental. For my sister, she rented through Got to Be Chic, but there's also a lot of other rental sites, but that essentially just removes the waste that is generated from another bridal gown or another suit that might not be worn. So we're able to find good matching colors, and usually all of these companies are really good with providing swatches if you need to kind of match those colors if you really care about that thing. The last thing that we also all had on the day of were florals, so I'm touching upon it in a couple different areas of this video, but our florist was able to make everything with no plastic, just twine and a couple pins to keep everything together. So I actually opted for a smaller bouquet because I didn't think I needed like a huge one. A lot of people like that extravagance, but I wanted a smaller one, so I went for a smaller one, gave my sister the smallest size, and I honestly think that was the perfect size in terms of floral design and the amount of flowers that were going to be cut anyways. And for the guys, and also the family, we did have corsages that were made, as well as these small little boutonnieres. And for the family and also for the best man, we just got some greenery on there, which is really cool too. So we started off with the idea of having a 100-person wedding, so that was our cap, and we were able to invite our guests through paperless posts, so we opted for having as little paper as possible for our invitations, so we're able to leverage that online platform for inviting our guests, sending out information, and also doing some simple tracking, but we also leverage Excel quite a bit for our budgeting, financials, as well as some other tracking as well. Once we were able to get the rough guest count, we had to start looking at venues, and for myself, just stylistically, you guys might have seen through my Instagram and just my videos in general that I love white spaces and blank white walls and negative space. That's just a me thing, so I looked far and wide, but ended up going with what's called the Alameda County Fairgrounds. If some of you live in the Bay Area, you might know it. It's a fairgrounds. But they also have these buildings that they use for conferences and fairs, but they also use them for weddings. So we found this really large white building. It's called Building Q. They have different letter buildings there. So we opted for that, and we went with that for our venue because it was a beautiful white space with plenty of natural light for beautiful pictures. Okay, so for the decoration, I'll try to think about it from a memory going from the ceremony to the actual reception. So when I think about the ceremony, I think about the chairs. Those were all rented, as well as the draping, which divided the room. That was also rented at the fairgrounds. We also were able to repurpose my own mason jars and a lot of fake candles for my sister's wedding and her engagement to pretty much just decorate the aisle as well as the altar. And in regards to florals, as mentioned before, I had a florist from San Francisco, and she was able to make a beautiful green garland that was completely compostable, and we put that at the altar for the ceremony as well. So it was a very great little kind of photo frame for a lot of photo ops for group pictures too. In regards to all the papers and the programs, we did try to keep it really minimal. So we had a friend who works at an electronics company and who works in audio video. So he was able to help us get 2 screens, which we used and leveraged for worship lyrics for our wedding ceremony for songs. So we weren't able, or we didn't even have to print out those wedding programs. We did also have a small wedding book, which was also printed though, which was from the company Artifact Uprising, which was recommended by our photographer. Moving over to the reception area, we did bring those screens over because in terms of entertainment, we had a photo booth which we rented out to kind of entertain the guests, and we also had the screens because I love the game Just Dance. So we did 5 different Just Dance songs on the screen, got everyone on the dance floor, and it was so fun. I wish we could have had more songs, but that's how we used the screens. That was the main reason actually, because it's pretty much my dream to have Just Dance at a wedding. The string lights were also a nice touch for the wedding and really made the space a little bit more warm. So we're able to rent those, but they're really expensive, so we ended up buying some used locally and also on eBay. And luckily they're pretty high in demand because they add that really nice look and feel, so we're able to also resell them after the wedding. So in regards to the banquet seating, we did have a seating chart which was printed by Catherine from Going Zero Waste, so thank you, Catherine. I just put that on a big easel which I had from high school presentations, and the flowers that you see in the picture were actually supposed to be for the dogs that we wanted as flower dogs in the wedding, but then that didn't pan out, so it was kind of sad, but it's okay. And the actual tables, all the linens and the napkins, they went with the color theme, and those were rented out by our caterer. And instead of having big floral arrangements that could be taken home as gifts, Peter and I were thinking, hey, like, we just want our friends to have a great time. They don't really need to bring home something. Let's just make sure their bellies are full and that they have a fun time dancing, taking pictures and whatnot. So instead, I just put lots of eucalyptus, just a very minimal amount across all the tables, and I thought that added a really nice touch. And again, we also leveraged the mason jars and the fake candles to also decorate the tables too. For all of the seating and getting people to their seats, we just used some cardstock from home and were able to print on that. Just these small little name tags with people's names on it to indicate where they were supposed to sit, so that could be recycled easily after as well. So in regards to food, we didn't have a completely vegetarian or vegan meal for everyone. We did have some meat at the wedding, but we had it as a buffet and had the vegetarian and vegan options for myself and also my friends that were also having that diet too. Food waste was also one of the biggest things that were top of my mind, so I asked our catering assistant if we could work out composting or just preventing the food waste, and she assured me that the chef had had a lot of experience in planning just the right amount of food for the guests that were going to be there, so I trusted her with the amount of food that was going to be produced for the wedding. And the other plus was that the site was able to also compost all of our food scraps, so I'm really lucky that that was the case, because I think just living in the Bay Area, we have that luxury of being able to make sure that our food scraps can be properly composted instead of thrown away. And of course, most of all of our food was served on reusable, so as you can see in some of the pictures, we had the reusable wine glasses and water cups and utensils, so nothing there. But there was one hiccup, which was the bar, and I'm not a huge drinker, so I completely forgot about this, but there are sometimes straws and plastic cups which come from bars. So my wedding planner and coordinator just looked at me, and I looked at her, and we're like, oh no, there's plastic cups. And we didn't know that until the day of, so I mean, it's your big day. If things like that happen, don't let it really get to you. And she just assured me, hey, Christine, you just have a good time, and I'll see if I can recycle as much as I can. So that's that. I mean, you do the best you can, and if the mistakes come, just try to keep it cool, because it's your big day and you should have a lot of fun. And lastly, of course, is the cake, because who doesn't like dessert? I have a huge sweet tooth, so instead of opting for a traditional wedding cake, we actually went with donuts from one of our favorite local donut stores called Stan's. So we got a friend to pick up a bunch of donuts, and we served those at the wedding instead, and they were a huge hit. So I'm glad a lot of people got to enjoy just a small bite of our daily, not daily lifestyle, but I would say monthly lifestyle. We get it every so often. So to tie the wedding all off, in regards to gifts, very similar to the bridal shower, I did have that same Amazon registry in which I had some of those more sustainable products like the bees wrap and the mason jar lids and things like that. But we asked for people to contribute cash donations because of my lifestyle, and also for a honeymoon fund, and we just said we don't like to accumulate a lot of things, so people are pretty understanding of that. And also, I think I'm pretty lucky because in Chinese culture especially, it's just very common to give a red envelope for someone's wedding gift, which is essentially every Chinese New Year you get a red envelope which is filled with cash, so you just get money for your wedding. So yeah, I guess that's what a lot of people were accustomed to, so we got a lot of cash donations and a few physical gifts as well. There are usually things on my wedding registry, so nothing pretty out of the ordinary, so luckily we were able to control that. In regards to the thank you gifts, we are sending out postcards to our guests because, I guess that's supposed to be a surprise because we haven't actually sent it yet. But we're sending out postcards to our guests to thank them because we thought at least something physical to maybe put on their fridge would be nice, so we have a picture of us on there. And we also thanked our bridal party by getting them shoes from the company Nisolo, which is one of my favorite brands, and Peter loves their shoes as well. And for all of those people that helped us at our wedding, like our friend who helped us with the audio video and DJing, as well as our pastor, we got them gift certificates for local restaurants so that they could have a good time with their significant other, and hopefully also just enjoy a really good meal at a local eatery. So that's a wrap to this video. I want to give a big thank you to Kelly, who captured all these beautiful photos from the wedding on our very special day. She's an amazing photographer, and I really recommend that you guys take a look at her work. And I just hope that you guys found this video inspirational or helpful, if at all. And if you guys have any questions or want to hear more about, I guess, personal life, or want to see more of Peter, then feel free to comment below with any questions or comments as well. So for those of you that are planning your wedding, best of luck. You guys can do it, and a hearty congratulations to all of you, and hopefully you guys have a good rest of your day after watching this video. So thanks all, and we'll see you again soon.